Welcome to the demonstration with Big Data Transformations. In this demonstration, we will create billing information for a store using a join and summary aggregation. CoSort can sort the input sources of a join, then do an aggregation using the joined records, thus accomplishing the three major data warehouse functions of sort, join, and aggregation in one job script. This demo will use IRI Workbench to create this type of job script using an inner join. After the job script has been created, then Workbench can run that script. Joins are used to match fields from multiple input sources so that a single output record may be created based on these matches using fields from any of the input sources. When the inputs are being defined, they are defined in pairs, where the first input is known as the left input source and the second input is known as the right input source. There are multiple types of joins available with CoSort. For this demo, we are doing an inner join. An inner join creates records only when the left and right input sources have a match based on the join condition. In this demo, the match will be based on one field. We have a scenario where there will be a transaction file for a store. This file is named transaction.fix. Double-click on the file to display it in the center portion of Workbench. The file has a field for transaction type where 1 is a purchase and -1 is a return. Associated with each record is an account number that belongs to a unique customer. There is a quantity for the purchased item, a description of the item purchased, the purchase price for the item, the date of the transaction, and the total amount for the transaction. The account number will be used to match an account number in the file customers.fix. Double-click on this file to display it. This file has the personal information about the customer, account number, name, and address. The output file will have records grouped by the account number. The personal information associated with the account number will be followed by records for the individual transactions associated with the account number. Then there will be a total of the transactions for each account number. This is information that is similar to that for a customer billing statement. Click on the arrow next to the stopwatch to begin creating the CoSort job script for this. Select New Join Job. This brings us to the job specification file screen. Folder is the project folder and will be /join. You can browse to the desired project folder. The file name is the name for the job script that we are creating. Type in the file name billing. Workbench will add the .scl. Click Next. This brings us to the Data Sources screen. We will need to add two data sources. The first input will be the left input. Select Add Data Source. Make sure the file's radio button is selected. Browse to the file transactions.fix and double-click. Click OK. I previously created metadata files for the inputs. Select Add Existing Metadata. This brings us to the Open Metadata screen. Make sure that the Join Project folder is selected. There is a drop-down menu that contains the names of the project folders. Under the Matching Items section, double-click on transfix.ddf, located in the metadata directory under the Join Project directory. Select No for the pop-up question to copy the .ddf fields to the job section. Select Add Data Source. Make sure the file's radio button is selected. Browse to the file customers.fix and double-click. Click OK. Select Add Existing Metadata. This brings us to the Open Metadata screen again. Under the Matching Items section, double-click on customersfix.ddf, located in the metadata directory under the Join Project directory. Select No. Notice in the tree that there is an alias for each of the inputs. Click Next. Now we are on the Join Sources screen. Under the Data Source 1 is the alias name Transactions with field names below. Under Data Source 2 is the alias name Customers with field names below. We are going to match records in the two data source files based on the field account num. The rules for the match are accomplished by defining the join condition. Click on account num in the field list for each data source. Make sure that the inner join radio button is selected under join type. Select Create Condition. The join condition is then displayed. This is an equijoin where output records are only created when the field account num has the same value in each of the two input sources. Notice that there is a Not Sorted checkbox below each data source. Each data source must be in order by the fields used for the join condition. Transactions is not in order. Click on the checkbox Not Sorted so that transactions will be sorted before the records are matched. This is how sorting is accomplished prior to doing the join. Click Next. This brings us to the Data Targets screen. Our output target will have 4 types of output records. That is, there will be 4 distinct record definitions for the same output target. The 4 record types will contain the following. First, customer name and customer account number. Second, customer street address, city, and state. Third, transaction records, 1 for each customer transaction item. And last, a summary record that sums the transactions for each customer. The summary record must be defined first. The other records are considered detail records because the field information is in each data record that is being processed. Detail records should be defined in the order that they need to appear in the output. Select Add Data Target. Make sure the File Radio button is selected. Type billing.out for the output file. Click OK. Select Target Field Layout. Now we are at the Target Field Layout screen. The top half of the screen contains the field definitions for the sources. There is a separate tab for each source. Initially, all of the input field definitions are in the output. To distinguish to which source a field belongs, the field name is prepended by the alias name followed by a period. Since we only want one of the fields from the input in the summary record, account num, click on the arrow next to Clear. Select Clear All. Now drag the field account num from the source customers to the output. In addition, we want to define an aggregation field that sums the field transaction amount located in the transaction source. Highlight the field customers.accountnum. Right-click, select Aggregation, select Add Below. A sum field is added with the name New Aggregation. Click on that name. Type in the name Account Sum to change the name. Double-click on the field. This brings up the Target Field screen where parameters can be set for the field. The radio button for aggregation is selected. The new value box has the beginnings of the definition for the aggregation. Click on the button next to that box to further define the aggregation. We are going to sum the field transactions.transaction amount. Therefore, make sure the aggregation type is set to sum and the radio button for field is selected. From the field drop-down menu, select the field transactions.transaction amount. We want to restart the sum whenever a new account number is encountered. Therefore, click on the button next to the break on condition box so that the break condition can be defined. We are at the expression builder screen. Here we will build the break condition in the expression box. We want to create a sum total every time the field account num changes, and then restart the sum for the next account num. Click on Field Names in the Category column. In the Items column, the input field names are displayed. Double-click on Customers.AccountNum. Click Finish. The break on condition box now contains the condition Customers.AccountNum. Click OK. On the Target field screen, the new value box now contains the definition for performing the aggregation. Now, change the data type to numeric and the precision to 2 so that there will be 2 decimal places. Click OK. This first field should start at position 1. Account sum we want to start at position 34 with a size of 7, which is one more than the transaction amount. Highlight and change each of those. Click OK. The detail record layouts should be defined in the order that you wish them to appear. First, we want the name record. Select Add Data Target. Type billing.out for the output file. Click OK. Select Target Field Layout. Click on the arrow next to Clear. Select Clear All. We want the fields name and account num from the customer's file. Drag those fields down to the second target. The fields still have the positions from input. Click on Reposition Fields. Set the field spacing to 2. Click OK. Click OK again. We want the name line to appear only once for each customer. As it is now, it would appear once for each transaction line. Therefore, we need to create an include statement for that type of record that will include the information only the first time each specific account num is encountered. Select Record Filter. Make sure that the Include Radio button under Filter Action is selected. Click the button next to New Condition. Select Field Names in the Categories column. Double-click on Customers.AccountNum. That field name becomes the expression used for the include condition. Click Finish. Click OK. We want to create the address record now. Select Add Data Target. Type in the file name billing.out. Click OK. Select Target Field Layout. Clear all the fields from the third target. From Customers, drag down the fields Street Address, City, and State. Click Reposition Fields. Put in 2 for the field spacing. Click OK. Click OK again. Here we want the address line to appear only once for each customer. Select Record Filter. Make sure that the Include Radio button under Filter Action is selected. Click on the button next to New Condition. Select Field Names in the Categories column. Double-click on Customers.AccountNum in the Items column. That field name becomes the expression used for the include condition. Click Finish. Now click OK. Now we are going to create the transaction records. Select Add Data Target. Type in the name billing.out. Click OK. Select Target Field Layout. Clear the output fields. From Transactions, we want to drag transaction date, quantity, description, price, and transaction amount to the fourth billing.out. When we dragged the fields to the output, they retained the position numbers from the input. Click on Reposition Fields to adjust the position numbers. Set the spacing to 2. Click OK. Click OK again. Click Finish. The center portion of Workbench now contains the job script file billing.scl. It has all the commands in the SortCL language that were generated by the process we just completed. Now we can run the job. Click on the green arrow in the toolbar. The output file has been placed in the project. By double-clicking on the file billing.out, we can display it in the center of Workbench. Alternately, the job script can be run in a batch script or from the command line. Notice that each name and address line occurs once per account number. Under those lines are the transactions that belong to the account. The final line for the account contains the account number and a total for the transactions for the account. This concludes this demo, where we showed the steps for defining this inner join job with fixed length fields and that has an aggregation and 4 separate output records that each have a different format. Thank you for watching Big Data Transformation, where we created billing information using a join and summary aggregation. For more information, you can visit us on the web at www.iri.com.